Maybe love doesn't really start with the first person who made your heart race. Maybe it begins long before that. In the quiet, unseen moments of childhood, where your nervous system learned what closeness felt like, what safety meant, what attention sounded like when it was given or withheld. Because before we ever say, "I love you," we've already been taught, by tone, by presence, by silence, what love feels like. And somewhere deep inside, that early lesson keeps echoing. We grow older, but the child inside us still reaches out, still searches for what once felt familiar, even if what's familiar has never been safe. Psychologists call this attachment learning. But beyond the terms and theories, it's really just the story of how we learn to be loved, and how we sometimes spend our adulthood trying to rewrite it. So, take a breath. Let this story be gentle. It isn't about blame. It's about awareness, about seeing the invisible threads that tie the way you love now to the way you were once loved then. Here are 8 ways childhood shapes your love story. 1. The mirror of familiarity. When comfort isn't the same as love. Have you ever met someone and instantly felt something click? That inexplicable pull, as if your souls recognized each other? It feels like fate. But often, it's a memory. The human brain is drawn to the familiar, even when the familiar once caused us pain. It's not romance. It's recognition. Your nervous system senses a pattern it knows. Maybe it's the unpredictability of affection, or the emotional distance hidden beneath charm. Maybe it's the way someone withdraws when you get too close, and how that makes you try harder. You tell yourself it's chemistry. But sometimes, what you're calling chemistry is actually repetition. This is the comfort trap. If love in your childhood meant waiting for approval, attention, warmth, then waiting becomes your comfort zone. Your body equates love with longing. The anxiety feels like passion. The inconsistency feels like a spark. It's not your fault. The brain learned that survival meant adapting, not questioning. It learned that almost love was better than none. But healing begins when you realize familiarity isn't the same as safety. When you allow calmness to feel exciting. When you teach your body that love can feel like exhaling, not adrenaline. Familiarity may draw you in, but awareness can help you stay free. 2. The caregiver's shadow. How we choose what feels like home. Every caregiver leaves an emotional fingerprint on our hearts. They don't have to be perfect. No one is. But the way they respond to our needs becomes the internal compass that guides every future connection. If love comes with warmth and consistency, we grow to trust that closeness is safe. But if it comes with silence, criticism, or unpredictability, our hearts may confuse anxiety with intimacy. As children, we can't say, "My parents are emotionally unavailable." We simply say, "I must be too much." We internalize their behavior as a reflection of our worth. So, when we grow up, we often find ourselves drawn to partners who mirror that early dynamic. The emotionally distant, the hot and cold, the ones who make us work for connection. Because even if it hurts, it feels like home. Your body remembers the rhythm of love you grew up with, even when your mind insists you want something different. The key isn't to shame that part of you. It's to meet it with compassion. To recognize that your attraction isn't broken. It's trying to finish an unfinished story. You're not choosing pain. You're chasing repair. But the repair doesn't come from changing another person. It comes from reparenting the child in you who still believes love must be earned. 3. The wound of invisibility. Why we fall for people who don't see us. There's a certain kind of child who learns early how to make themselves small. The peacemaker. The helper. The one who keeps everyone else okay, even at their own expense. If you grew up like that, love might have become synonymous with caretaking. Your worth is tied to usefulness. Your identity formed around fixing others. So as an adult, you might find yourself drawn to people who need saving. The emotionally wounded, the distant, the lost. You offer understanding, patience, and empathy. You become their anchor, their therapist, their emotional shelter. But when it's your turn to be held, they vanish. Psychology calls this repetition compulsion, the unconscious drive to recreate old emotional wounds in hopes of healing them. You keep choosing people who can't fully see you, because a part of you still hopes that if you can make this person stay, you'll finally prove you're enough to be loved. But love isn't a test. Visibility isn't a prize. The healing comes when you stop chasing people who need saving and start letting yourself be seen. Needs, flaws, emotions and all. When you stop performing love and start receiving it. The right person will not need to be convinced. They will recognize you the way sunlight recognizes open hands. Gently, naturally, without effort. 4. The blueprint of safety. How attachment styles are born. At the heart of modern relationship psychology is a simple but profound idea. The way we love as adults reflects how we were loved as children. If your early caregiver was attuned and consistent, you likely developed a secure attachment style. You can give and receive love without constant fear of rejection or engulfment. But if they were inconsistent, sometimes nurturing, sometimes withdrawn, you might lean anxious, always seeking reassurance. And if they were cold or dismissive, you may lean avoidant, equating closeness with loss of control. These are not flaws. They are adaptations. Anxious individuals often overfunction, overthinking, overanalyzing, overgiving, as a way to maintain closeness. Avoidant individuals underfunction, shutting down, pulling away, as a way to avoid potential pain. Both are just nervous systems trying to stay safe. When you begin to see these patterns not as character defects but as survival strategies, you open the door to healing. You learn to pause before reacting. To ask, what does my fear need right now? Instead of what's wrong with me? Healing doesn't mean never getting triggered. It means responding differently when you are. You learn that safety isn't found in perfect partners, but in the ability to self-soothe, to communicate, to regulate. That's what secure love really is. Two nervous systems learning to breathe together instead of bracing against each other. 5. The echo of neglect, when independence becomes armor. Not all wounds are loud. Some are made of absence. The moments when nobody came, when emotions were met with silence, when you learned to self-soothe before you ever had the chance to be soothed. That kind of childhood breeds independence. On the outside, you appear strong, capable, unbothered. But inside, there's a quiet ache, a longing to be cared for that feels both desperate and dangerous. You may pride yourself on not needing anyone yet secretly crave to be chosen without asking. You may withdraw when people get too close, then wonder why you feel so lonely. This is the paradox of emotional neglect. It teaches you that dependence is unsafe, even when your body longs for connection. But independence was never meant to replace intimacy. It was meant to protect you until love felt safe again. Healing begins when you realize vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. When you let someone see the parts of you that aren't polished or prepared. When you stop equating self-reliance with self-worth. Love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means no longer carrying everything alone. 6. The ghost of comparison. How conditional love shapes worth. Maybe love in your childhood came with strings attached. Be good. Be quiet. Be better. You learned that love had conditions, that approval was earned through achievement, that affection was given in exchange for perfection. So, you grew into an adult who confuses worth with performance. You overextend, overdeliver, overpromise. You become the partner who apologizes first, who compromises more, who carries the emotional weight just to keep peace. But conditional love is a contract written in invisible ink. No matter how hard you try, the goalposts keep moving. Carl Rogers, one of the fathers of humanistic psychology, called the antidote unconditional positive regard, the experience of being accepted simply for existing. Most of us didn't get enough of that. But the healing journey is about giving it to ourselves. When you make a mistake and meet it with gentleness instead of punishment, that's reparenting. When you rest without guilt, that's unconditional love. When you walk away from someone who only loves you when you're impressive, that's liberation. You were never meant to earn love. You were meant to receive it. 7. The cycle of chaos. Why we mistake intensity for intimacy. There's a special kind of allure in intensity. The whirlwind relationships, the late-night arguments, the passionate reconciliations. It feels cinematic, electric, alive. But often, that intensity is a trauma response in disguise. If love in your early life was unpredictable, sometimes tender, sometimes terrifying, your nervous system learned that connection equals high stakes. So, calmness feels foreign. Peace feels like disinterest. You might even sabotage stability because your body confuses stillness with emptiness. But true intimacy isn't built on adrenaline. It's built on consistency. The rush of chaos eventually burns out. What lasts is the slow, steady rhythm of safety. In therapy, this process is called nervous system regulation. It's learning that love doesn't need to feel like a storm to be real. That the quiet moments, morning coffee, shared silence, unspoken comfort, are where intimacy actually lives. Healthy love won't trigger your anxiety. It will calm it. And the first time you experience that, it might feel boring. But give it time. That's not boredom. That's peace. Something your younger self has been craving all along. 8. The longing for repair. How healing changes who you fall for. Neuroplasticity tells us the brain can change, that the same pathways wired by pain can be rewired by safety, consistency, and care. This is the miracle of healing. What was once familiar can become foreign, and what once felt foreign can finally feel like home. When you start healing, your type changes. You stop falling for potential. You start noticing patterns. You pause before you chase. You learn to differentiate between spark and safety. You begin to crave relationships that don't drain you. You value steadiness over intensity, honesty over mystery, peace over thrill. The partners you once overlooked, the kind, the calm, the emotionally present, begin to feel magnetic in ways they never did before. Because healing shifts your nervous system from survival to connection. It teaches your body that love can feel soft, slow, and safe. And as you heal, you realize the person you were always waiting for wasn't someone else. It was the version of you who finally believes they're worthy of safe love. The invisible thread. Look back gently. Every heartbreak, every pattern, every wrong person, none of it was wasted. Each one was a mirror showing you something you needed to see about your past. The avoidant partners revealed your fear of being trapped. The unavailable ones mirrored your old feeling of being unseen. The intense ones replayed your early lessons about chaos and attention. Each repetition was your psyche's way of seeking repair. You weren't broken for choosing them. You were becoming conscious. And when consciousness meets compassion, transformation begins. Reparenting the heart. Reparenting is one of the most powerful tools in psychology. The act of giving yourself what you didn't receive. It doesn't mean blaming your parents. It means understanding they too were shaped by their own unmet needs. It means choosing to end the cycle through awareness. When you self-soothe instead of self-abandon, you are reparenting. When you speak kindly to yourself after a setback, you are reparenting. When you set boundaries without guilt, you are teaching your inner child that love and respect can coexist. The more you practice this, the more your nervous system learns that safety isn't a fluke. It's possible. And slowly, you start attracting partners whose energy matches your healing, not your history. The science of emotional memory. Neuroscience shows us that emotional memory isn't stored in words. It's stored in sensation. That's why some people trigger you even when they've done nothing wrong. They remind your body of someone else. Your amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, doesn't know time. It reacts as if the past is still present. That's why your rational mind can say, "I'm fine," while your chest feels like it's collapsing. Healing isn't about erasing that response. It's about befriending it. You place a gentle hand on your heart and whisper, "I know this feeling. It's old. I'm safe now." Every time you do that, you're rewiring your emotional brain. You're teaching your body that love can feel safe again. The quiet revolution of awareness. Self-awareness doesn't sound glamorous. It's not fireworks. It's a slow dawn. It's catching yourself before you spiral. It's noticing your triggers and choosing gentleness instead of judgment. Awareness is when you pause mid-argument and realize you're not angry at your partner. You're scared of being dismissed. It's when you stop taking their silence personally and start asking, "What is this reminding me of?" Every moment of awareness is a small act of liberation. Because the goal of healing isn't to become untriggered. It's to become self-attuned. To respond to your pain with curiosity, not shame. That's what emotional maturity really is. Not perfection, but presence. The shape of self-love. Self-love is not dramatic. It's not a constant guessing game. It's not butterflies born from anxiety. Self-love is clarity. It's peaceful. It's knowing someone's tone won't change overnight. It's being able to express your needs without fearing punishment. It's trust built quietly, like sunlight through curtains. At first, it may feel uncomfortable, because calmness is foreign to a nervous system raised on chaos. But with time, that discomfort softens into gratitude. You stop waiting for the other shoe to drop. You stop mistaking tension for connection. You start relaxing into love instead of working to earn it. That's when you know you've broken the cycle. When peace finally feels like home. What healing looks like. Healing doesn't always look like joy. Sometimes it looks like grief, mourning the childhood you didn't get, the affection you had to chase, the ease you had to learn late. But grief is sacred. It means you've stopped pretending. It means you're acknowledging the truth so you can build something new. Healing is messy. It's crying for no reason. It's a feeling triggered by peace because your body still expects chaos. It's learning, unlearning, relearning. But through it all, something quiet and powerful grows: self-trust. You start believing you can survive discomfort without abandoning yourself. You start believing that love can last without drama. You start believing that you, just as you are enough. And that belief changes everything. Love, you realize, is not the high of being seen by someone else. It's the peace of finally seeing yourself. It's the way you speak gently to your younger self when old patterns resurface. It's choosing partners who speak to your present, not your past. It's refusing to chase love that requires you to disappear. Love is presence, not performance. Connection, not chaos. Safety, not sacrifice. And as you embody that truth, your relationships begin to mirror your healing. You stop needing to prove you're worthy. You start feeling it. And that feeling, that quiet, steady knowing, becomes the foundation of every healthy bond you build. Maybe the real purpose of love isn't to complete us, but to reveal us. To show us the parts still waiting for tenderness, still longing for peace. Each person you've ever loved was a chapter in your emotional education. Some taught you boundaries. Some taught you loss. Some taught you what you will never again accept. But every lesson led you here. To awareness, to softness, to yourself. Because the most important relationship you'll ever have is the one between your adult self and your inner child. The one who still looks for home in the eyes of others. So, the next time you find yourself falling, pause. Listen. Ask not just, do they love me? But, does my nervous system feel safe with them? Because safety is love's truest language. And the moment you learn to speak it, everything changes. You stop falling for familiar pain. You start choosing conscious peace. And one day, you'll wake up beside someone whose presence feels like calm water. Steady, deep, and true. You'll smile, not because it's thrilling, but because it's safe. And that's when you'll know. The story has changed. Love no longer mirrors your wounds but reflects your healing.